name's Terry Lynch. I'm with Oregon Ufology. I found myself searching for a passageway one day. And that passageway leads right across the complete section of the Cascades, which I'm sitting in front of at the moment. On top of Blind Peak. I want to make sure that everybody sees the type of things that we find in the process of research for ufology. I have located a couple that's sitting here on the top of Blind Peak. She's facing south. He's facing north.
The Middle, Cascadia Guides, a Ledesma production, in conjunction with Alien Strand Films.
What's up, everyone? This is Arizona Gallegos, and you're listening to Alien Strand Podcast with Donald Ledesma. Check out my Facebook page at Arizona Secret Backyard. Hit me a like, share, and follow. I'll see you there.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Man, it's going to be a good one today. You know, I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the news of what's going on around the world, man. I mean, isn't it crazy that solar eclipse will be here in a week or two, maybe away? Hope you guys are prepared for that, for all the things to come. Now, if you're new to Alien Strand Podcast, well, welcome to Alien Strand Podcast, and welcome to ufology. That's what we're about. We're about ufology and teaching you guys about everything and of the unknown, right? Paranormal, Bigfoot, spirits, all that good stuff that comes along with it, We try to get as much information to you guys as possible, right? And that's what we try to do here at Alien Strand Podcast. And, it's crazy, man. I love doing this, and I love giving you guys all the information. And, I look up in the sky nightly, and I'm looking at all these videos and of all these UFOs that I catch up, people catch up in the sky, and I'm not so lucky to catch them every day. I do have friends, right, that they do catch these, UFOs, anomalies, spirits. They even catch these voices, man, that comes out on their webcams. And oh my God, I got a friend of mine. His name's Anibal Caballero. He lives in Colorado Springs there, and probably a little bit towards the south of Colorado Springs, maybe a couple of Pueblo, Colorado. I'm sorry, that's where he lives, and he's been getting a lot of strange stuff, man, that's been happening to him on his side of the world. But like I said, welcome to ufology. You catch us on 28, 29 platforms. Amazon. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts. You can catch us on. You can even ask Alexa. She'll play you some Alien Strand Podcasts. Catch us on YouTube as well. Right, we're live on YouTube. We're not video. We're just audio podcasting today. Because I just want to give you guys some small information of some news that's been going around of our governments and what happens. And also the dark side of ufology too, which I am talking about now, right? If you haven't caught our movie The Middle, go check it out. Part 1 is on, I think, Hoopla, and it's on Tubi TV and Amazon Prime. You can still see it out there. It's not on YouTube anymore for free. We only give it out, I'll probably be giving it out here in a couple of weeks, for about 3 or 4 days. You guys can check it out there. But just go to Tubi TV. It's still free there. Go check it out there. The middle, go check it out, Part 1. Now, Part 2 is only out on the Skylight 1 channel, right? And that is our own channel. It's web-based only. It's not on Roku or none of that stuff yet, right? We're trying to get with some folks so that way we can get it on those platforms, but we haven't done it yet. I mean, we're pushing forward to it, but man, these things cost a lot of money. Hello. We try to push these things as much as we can, and we want you guys to see Part 2. I have been throwing the commercials out there. You can actually see the trailers for it on our YouTube channel. Go to Alien Strand. Go look for Alien Strand. Hit a like and subscribe there. You can see all our live podcasts. If you go to the live section there, on our live podcast, click on the live section. You'll see all the video, audio, video and podcasts that you've been listening to if you only hear the audio parts of it, right? And sometimes it's good to watch the photos and the videos that I'm throwing out there as I'm talking about these things. I know sometimes you guys are driving, you can't really check it out, whatever. But you can always go back and go look at them. Just click the live section there, and you can go back to any of the podcasts, and then you can see the actual video footage or photos that Terry and I were talking about, or even Jun DeYoung, or any of the other guests that I've had on the shows, right? So, just an FYI, right? So go to the Skylight 1 channel. I'll put a link to it on this podcast so you can watch the middle Part 2. Now, the reason I'm saying that now, man, my distributors are just giving, I don't know what's going on. They're dragging their, you know what? But I don't want to cuss. I don't want to do that. But, they're dragging themselves, and I can't get it on Amazon. They've been, I've been pushing it. And so what I'm going to do is Part 3, I'm finishing it up today, just the final edits. That one will probably be released on Amazon Prime before Part 2 comes out. Man, I swear to God, it happens that way. But if you happen to catch Part 3, go check it out. But Part 2 is still on the Skylight 1 channel. Go check it out there. Please see Part 2 and then see Part 3. I mean, it doesn't really have to be in any order on those two, but I would really highly suggest Part 2 before you get to Part 3. I'm just saying. Part 3, I have a feeling it's going to come out before Part 2 on Amazon Prime. It is what it is. I can't help it. That's just the way it is, right? So, today's podcast is the UFO and alien news, because a lot of people are so interested in ufology, right? And every time we have these live podcasts, we get people to jump on board and they're talking about, all their experiences that they've had using lasers, right? They'll use lasers to communicate. They'll use CE5, just go through the list on CE5s. They'll be doing all those things to try to communicate and contact a lot of these extraterrestrial crafts or extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings, right, that are out there, because they're on a different tangent, right? They're in a different realm, I believe, me personally, through my experience with interviewing a lot of people that have been a part of seeing these interdimensional beings. Now, they're not always going to be grays. Lately, I've been getting people that have been contacting me that they're seeing these things more of a reptilian kind of look to them, right? So now I'm starting to get a lot of that. I don't know if these things that are reptilians are starting to make their way out a little bit more, and we're starting to see a little bit more that are coming to now. Somebody contacted me here yesterday on an email. About a week ago. I just saw it yesterday. My bad. But I'm always kind of going through, doing 1,000 things at once. Anyway, so they contact me and they said that they've been going through, seeing a lot of these interdimensional beings through the years. It's been over 20 years between him and his wife, right? That strange things happens in their houses. They're starting to see reflections in their windows of different things as far as when they capture them on images on their cameras or on their phones. The reflection is not the reflection that's on the outer side of the image. In other words, let's just say you're taking a picture of the outside of the window of the house. You take the picture. It's not showing the reflection of back at you. It's showing a different kind of dimension. We just got one of those 2 days ago, and I did put it on Alien Strand Disclosure Project, and I believe I shared it on Alien Strand on Facebook. So go check those out. And I think I threw it on Alien Strand there on Instagram. Follow us there as well. But what I'm trying to say is that these interdimensional beings are making their way through these realms to where they're starting to communicate more with the people. Now, us as human beings, we always kind of, trying to pick our intellect a little bit and trying to figure out, okay, how do I contact these things, right? Or how is it that they're contacting me, right? I do get a lot of emails from people that show me their video footage in their house when they're asleep. Things are happening to them, right? And there's a lot of strangeness that comes along with it. It almost looks supernatural at night, right? Sometimes these orbs, a lot of us think of them as dust balls that are flying in front of the camera. But when it lights up a whole room, that's when you start kind of like questioning it, right? How does a dust mite or whatever that's in front of a camera gonna light up half of the room, right? And I do see that from time to time on some videos that people do send me privately, right? And of course, I have to get the permission to put these out there. Now, as if you guys are like I am as a ufologist, every day I'm looking through at least 100 photos and videos of what I've seen 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or something new, right? Because I'm always looking for something new that I have never seen before. So when people send me things like that, I kind of, I dig into it a little bit. And do I have the answers to everything? No, I don't. I don't have the answers to everything. And I try to, at least give them somewhat of what I think it is, right? Or if there was some kind of way that they tapped into this world or realm without them knowing it, right? So we always try to figure out ways, that they might have done this by accident, or if they actually intendedly did this, right? To have these experiences with these extraterrestrials or these interdimensional beings, what they are, right? Because in all my films, I always talk about how these folks, when I interview them, I don't talk about it. They're the ones that tell me. But as soon as they have this interaction with a UFO craft, right afterwards, they start getting these almost paranormal-ish things that start happening to them in their homes, right? Like, things start moving around. The cameras start picking up strange things. Voices start being heard in the cameras or in their phones while they're recording, right? And it almost feels paranormalish, right? Sometimes they do see these extraterrestrials as extraterrestrials, right? I'm talking about the people that are in my film. Sometimes they don't see them as that. It almost manifests itself into something different, like a ghost-looking apparition. And then it changes back into the extraterrestrial image of what it really is, right? And these are the things that we have to kind of think about when a lot of these folks are telling their stories, not just on my films, but on other documentaries. Look at all those, that people talk about or interview people that have had these things happen to them, or abductions, right? Travis Walton, right? He explains it, what happened to him and how it could have changed him, or if he would have just not fought back, how would it have changed? How would the story have changed, right? But when these people experience these extraterrestrial beings or UFOs, they start seeing more and more of them as they're being recorded, right? So people start having, as a human being, you're going to be like, oh, well, let me see exactly what this is. A lot of us get inquisitive, and there's a lot of us that get scared of it and saying, oh, hell no, I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? And it just keeps on happening, right? But a lot of us are inquisitive about it, and we start looking into it, right? Start reading about it. Start reading all these books and philosophy about UFOs and the past and 1947, and here we go on and on and on, right? So you start knowing the history of everything, right? But a lot of times you don't go into the depth of what it actually is, right? And when you do have the actual experience of the CE3, the CE4, CE5, right? So when you're doing the CE5, you know, there's steps you got to take, you know, the music, and then, you know, you use your meditation. Everything's got to be quiet. You got to clear your mind completely of everything and anything. No children around, nothing to distract you in any kind of way. You listen to low frequency music, like a low tone hum. You know, you start doing that in order to attract these, whatever it is you're trying to call, right? And you can have these in groups as well. They say it works better in groups. It can, you know, to me, I don't see the difference in it. Sometimes these extraterrestrials are attracted to just that one person. If you happen to be in that group, hey, you were just lucky enough to see it. And sometimes that's the only time they're ever going to experience anything like that. So it's always that one person that these things are attracted to, right? And it could be you, right? It could not, you know, it's in the cards of what these extraterrestrials and what they want, right? And what they're looking for. And we always try to think about, you know, what is it that they want? And I've talked about it over and over, you know, our DNA or the eggs and sperm samples and all that stuff, you know, so they can, you know, make more of them, right? Cloning, in a sense, right? We talked about cloning babies and you know, making hybrid children and all that stuff, right? And these are real accounts of what people do go through, right? So you gotta kind of think about these things as, what if that happened to you, right? You get the PTSD, all the things that come along with it, right? And you know, because this that happens to people is unwelcoming, right? I didn't want it to happen. A lot of them say that. I didn't want it to happen. It just happened. Or they made it happen, right? And you can't blame the people for that or thinking that way. So the PTSD starts sinking in. Bad dreams start sinking in, and here they go. They start going through all the negativity and things that starts happening, right? So that's why I always tell you, be careful for what you wish for, because we don't always wish that upon anybody as far as an actual encounter, right? Sometimes an encounter could be at a good distance, right? You can see it from, you know, the stars, or you can see something moving across the sky, which is okay, right? Once these things start getting closer, you start using laser pointers, they'll get closer and they'll get closer, right? And that's where you have to actually ask yourself, do I draw the line here? Do I stop what I'm doing, or do I keep going to see how far I can get? I mean, we all want the experience of actually standing in front of a UFO craft and even touching it with our hands, right? We all want that. We all want to see it. We all want to see an extraterrestrial standing in front of us, right? Possibly communicating. And everybody wants that experience, but even if you did have it, people won't believe you anyway, right? That's just the realism of human beings and our human nature. Because, like I always say in my film, seeing is believing, and experiencing is another thing too. So, and that's the hard part about going through that experience, or wanting that experience, is focusing on what is to come, right? And that's why I always say, be careful what you wish for, because these things might take you and they won't bring you back, right? This might be the end of it all. You know, I don't know. You know, what can you say, right? And our government's been kind of looking at this as well, and because this is my feeling, We are the actual zoo, right? And they know it. They're the zookeepers, right? Basically. And the aliens out there are the spectators, right? So, and this is my analogy of it all, right? They're the spectators, our government's the zookeepers, and we are the animals. And this is, I think, how they see us as what we are, right? So there was an article on, let's see, it says March 6, 2024. It's on Scientific American. It says, we need to investigate UFOs, but without the distraction of conspiracy theories, right? We always think that. A former government official calls investigating unidentified anomalous phenomenon without succumbing to conspiracy theories about extraterrestrials. Little of these tilates and the national interest, like unidentifying flying objects and space aliens, right? After more than a century of films featuring intelligent creatures from other worlds, and 7 decades of U.S. government began investigating them, by UFO remains a flashpoint of conspiracy theorists and science deniers. By any name, UFOs or unidentified aerial phenomenon, right? UAPs. Conjure the most vivid images. Plots allowed Hollywood and novels alike, right? Who doesn't want to believe? And this is exactly what I was talking about here earlier. Who doesn't want to see these aliens? Who doesn't want to experience something in front of them, right? So, Hollywood kind of gives us that imagination and the possibilities of what it might be or what you might experience, right? And it says, however, reality and the inconvenient as it can be, the fundamentals in 2022 Congress found the the courage to put the law into creation to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution, the AARO, jointly managed by the Department of Defense and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Its mission is quite straightforward. Apply to unbiased scientific methods of intelligence trademark to review the existing information and the data of hysterical UAPs, and investigate new data of these are to provide the Office for the Military, federal, and state and local entities, as well as private citizens. So, and it says AAROs, the reason that what they're doing is to investigate, evaluate, annihilate, analyze, and provide actionable information for the use of national security leadership. Its purpose is not to prove or to disprove the existence of extraterrestrial life, but to address the safety and the security of our people, our operations, and our nation, right? And that's basically what they're saying. They're like, well, I'm kind of scared of this stuff, right? What if? What if we find something, right? Or what if we get to communicate? What's next? Security of the nation is next, right? Because who's going to get a hold of these things, right? What if it just maybe 20 of these things decides to land, right? And they so happen just to land here, not any other countries. Well, of course, we're going to take a hold or try to take possession of what that is and try to get the technologies that are involved in it. I don't think there's going to be a peaceful resolution as a meeting sort of kind of thing that our governments will possibly do if these things do land again, right? I'm going to say this again. This Roosevelt, does that ring a bell? So, is it the possibilities of these things actually existing within our realm? And if it is, in a third dimensional tangent, that can we coexist? And if we can, then can we actually be humane on the actual meeting, the experience of the actual meeting itself, right? and the communication as well, right? So the government's always, I don't care where you live, which country you live in, everything's going to be involved with the government as far as extraterrestrials, aliens, and the security of the country, right? Because that's basically what it is. They want to make sure that these things don't take over, right? And which, me personally, if they would have done it, they would have done it already, right? Since they crashed here since 47, 42, 59. You know, they even in the 30s that they found some wreckage as well. You know, even in the 1800s, I've even talked about it. The days of even in the days of Alexander, right, the Great, they talked about these things flying in the sky. They almost look like shields, right? What looks like a shield. A saucer-shaped craft, right? That's exactly what it looks like, the shield and their spear, right? So, and they talked about this back then. These things have been coming around for a long time. And what if thousands and thousands and thousands of years before that, as you know, they talked about the pyramids. You know, they've been talking about the pyramids for a while now. And they're saying that these things are older than we think they are, right? And it could have been, you know, predated way back before the Great Floods, right? For the Andreas impact, right? It could have changed. Now, I just recently posted a picture. There's this a photo in Peru. It's called El Cono de Peru, right? Which looks like a mountain shaped of a pyramid sticking straight up out of the jungles in Peru. It looks like a cone. That's why it's called El Cono, right? So, and I posted those on Alien Strand Disclosure Project, and I posted that on Alien Strand and on Instagram. So if you want to go back, go check those out, of those pictures of El Cono and stuff like that, and you'll see exactly what I was talking about. I'll just kind of read you a little bit about it, and that way you can kind of see it yourself. Yeah, it says it's El Cono's in Sierra del Sabor region of Peru's Amazon rainforest. It's the only mountainous region anywhere in the lowland and the rainforest, according to Peruvian NGO. And while the Field Museum, that's what they're saying, in the U.S. describes it as a mountain range rising up dramatically from the lowlands of the central Amazonian Peru and boasting rare, diverse geological formations to occur nowhere else in Amazonia. It's the most iconic feature is El Cono, right? It says an extraordinary peak visible from the Andes on a clear day that geologists consider to be an extinct volcanic cone. But when you look at the cone, it almost looks like a pyramid. It's got 4 triangular sides, right? I like to see if which direction they're facing, right? Or where it is actually on a geological map, for the north, south, east, and west, or, is it actually on a line, right? On a grid. And these are the things that we're finding today when I was talking about the pyramids, the past, right? These worlds probably been here a long, long time before us, right? And like the pyramids possibly was just used and adapted, right? They found a lot of water below the pyramids. There's a structure back there. It's almost underwater. But every time they try to pumping the water out, it's like a big pool. That all the water just keeps going back in from the bottom. So, and the water's clean, super clean. You can drink out of it. did these extraterrestrials or help the human nature evolve a little bit or move forward, right? These are the possibilities that this is a strong possibility what may have happened. And why they come back and they've never left. They just keep on visiting us daily. As I'm going to go back to the story of my friend Ani Ball there in Pueblo, Colorado. Now, he's an amazing ufologist. He does a lot of analyzations of UFOs for people. He does a lot of paranormal analyzations for people. He puts these videos and photos in a spectrum that you can't see. Only this program that he has is able to pick up these anomalies on video or photo. Now, he's been doing this for a while now. Good while. Now, lately, he's got this camera behind his house. And it's been picking up this sound. It sounds like a gurgle and a growl at the same time. First, he thought he had like a coyote or something out there. He lives in a Pueblo. So Pueblo's kind of like, it's out there. It's like a small little town, but it has, regular houses like you and I live in. It's almost like a city kind of look, but out in the country. As far as the look of the homes, right? So he's been catching these anomalies that are coming out of his cameras, right? Even inside of the house. Now it's starting to happen inside of the home. These screams and growls are starting to come through his camera. He can't hear them personally. Only he said he heard them on one occasion while he was watching television in the bedroom. And his camera ended up picking that up. The sound, actually. So, and that's where I get into this thing of the CE2, CE3, because he does record a lot of UFO events in his area. He sees a lot of crafts flying over by. He's caught some amazing footage that's on our middle part 1. His footage is on the middle part 2. His footage will be on the middle part 3 as well. His analyzing what he does to the videos, right, will be on all these films. And then his story will actually be on our final film, the middle part 4. You'll see him tell his story face to face to the camera and you. So, like I said, a lot of these stories almost mimic each other in a sense, but they're all different, right? Because once a UFO is spotted, once you start recording them, once all these things start happening, all these paranormalistic things start happening in your home. He's tried sage, he's tried holy water, he's tried all that to try to make it stop. But it's still, first it was in the back camera, then there was a front camera, now it's coming out on the inside of the house camera, right? So because first I thought, well, maybe the camera's kind of freaking out, or maybe there's a dog by the door or a coyote. No, we have recordings of that, and you're going to see that in the final film. You're going to hear all this. It almost sounds like it's speaking, right? So whatever these things are, they end up following you, and they follow you in your homes. So, and that's the part we have to think about of being careful, right? You have to be careful of what can happen and when you're actually looking for these things. So I always say, be careful for what you wish for, because you never know what will happen after that. And a lot of these people, it's still happening to them, even after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. The last person that contacted me yesterday, it was over 20 years, and they're still having contacts, right? So things don't stop, right? It's a never-ending thing. Is there ever going to be any answer to our governments looking for UFOs and trying to figure out exactly, where the money is? And, Even if they got David Grush that was in there, all these people that they use as whistleblowers, all they got was scrutiny and all kinds of things happened to them afterwards, right? When they try to open Pandora's box, it immediately closed on them, right? So, like I said, we're the zoo, our government is the zookeepers, and the aliens are the spectators. And that's my personal point of view, but I'm telling you, that's exactly what it is. What are your thoughts about things like that? Do you think about our governments and all the changes and everything that's happening, now our solar eclipses that are going to be coming up here are April 8th? Will it affect you? Are you prepared? We talked about it on our last podcast. How prepared are you? Have you got your list? Have you got your water? Just in case. All these things are just precautionary measures just in case, right? That's what you do. That's what you do. Just be ready. It's only a couple of weeks away, but hey, I got to get ready too. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's little podcast. Not very long, but, I just wanted to kind of give you my thoughts on extraterrestrials and, what these things possibly are. Give you a little bit of the news, top of that, and, the new things that we've caught on our pages. So go to our pages there on Alien Strand Disclosure Project. If you want to join, it's a private group. Be sure to answer all the questions. This is if you want to be a studying ufologist. We're not an ordinary group, that just post crap out there and all kinds of stuff. No, we kind of break things down. We all work together, and it's like a big classroom, all right? If you want to join that, go to our Facebook, Alien Strand Disclosure Project. Go look for us there. Go look for us on Alien Strand Podcast on Facebook. Go click us a like, man. Subscribe. Go to our YouTube. Click a like, subscribe. We are on X as well. Go to at ASDP Don. That's ASDP Don. Go look for us there on X. You'll see our shows there as well. A lot of things that we post as well. We like putting a lot of things out there for you guys. We're on Rumble. We're everywhere, man. Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We got like 5 groups that we're on live at times. Today we're just audio, but I just wanted to get a little bit of information to you guys. I didn't want to bore you guys too much. I hope you guys got some info out of this. Got you thinking a little bit. I know I did. Well, I did. So, anyway, like I said, hit a like, subscribe. I'm going to leave a link to our film, The Middle Part 2, on our Skylight 1 channel on this podcast. So when you get home tonight, if you're listening to this or if you're driving, go back, look at the link, go check out our film. You can actually purchase it, mirror it to your TV from there. If you know how to do the mirroring thing, you can mirror it to your TV. All the TVs have it now. If you got an iPhone, or whatever, Android, you can actually mirror it to your TV and watch it there. So it's almost like having it on your Roku. So go check that out. And I hope you guys really enjoyed today's podcast. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
What's up, guys? This is Mike Beavers from The Theory, and you are listening to Alien Strand Podcast, the dopest UFO alien podcast out there. And if you want to find out about me, just go on YouTube and search UFOs over UFO or The Theory with Mike Beavers. Stay tuned, guys.